We still continue with SURD, trig ratio, that's trigonometrical ratio of special angles. That's trig has to do with measurement of triangles. So now we are considering a right angle triangle, and that will make us to consider some of the angles using this. So there are some special angles that has their values in the SURD form. And those angles that we'll be considering now is angle 60 degree, angle 30 degree, and angle 45 degree. To have that, to have angle 60 degree, we need an equilateral triangle having the three sizes equal and the three angles equal. So that equilateral triangle will be bisected, divided into two equal parts to give us angle 30, and the side that is the base is going to give us 1 and 1 degree. So the sides are 2. So this is divided because of the word bisection, which is divided into two equal parts. So divide the angle into angle 30 degree and 30 degree, then that's the 60. Then the side 2 is divided into 1 and 1. So we can come up with a right angle triangle, which will give us a right angle triangle, which will give us angle 30 degree and angle 60 degree, and that's the right angle 30 degree. So here we can then find our value for 30 angle 30 degree in a SURD form and angle 60 degree. So this triangle now is with angle 30 degree and angle 60 degree, the side 1 and 2 and x, which is the perpendicular height after bisection. So this can then be determined using our trig ratio. So we consider first the value of the unknown side, which is side s, using Pythagoras theorem. That's for the method of solving a right angle triangle, especially when you are talking about the sides. So we have the line facing 90 degree as a hypotenuse, then the opposite and adjacent will be determined by any of the given angles. So we can consider one as the opposite and consider x as the adjacent. But if you are looking at angle 30, that means 1 is the opposite and x will be adjacent. We are considering angle 60, 1 is the adjacent, x is the opposite. So we can use our Pythagoras theorem now, which states hypotenuse square equals opposite square plus adjacent square. So 2 square equals 1 square plus x square. 2 square is 4, 1 square is 1, x square is still x square. So 4 minus 1 equals to x square. So x square equals to 3. So we find the square root of both sides. So x is root 3. That's the SURD form. So now having a value for x, we can then begin to consider a triangle. We have root 3. So when we consider angle 30 degree now, 1 is the opposite, root 3 is the adjacent, and 2 is the hypotenuse. So let's move and using our trig ratio. Our trig ratio has to do with sine of angles, cosine of angle, and tangent of angle. Sine of angle is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine of angle is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent of angle is opposite over adjacent. So 30 opposite sine 30 degrees now opposite over hypotenuse. We said early the opposite is 1, the hypotenuse is 2. That's half, 1/2. Cos 30 degrees adjacent over hypotenuse, the adjacent for angle 30 is root 3, and the opposite is the hypotenuse, is 2. So that's root 2/3. Therefore, tangent is opposite over adjacent. So tan 30 is what? Opposite to adjacent. Opposite is what? 1, and the adjacent is root 3. So that's 1/3. We can also do that for 60 degree. But let's go back to the triangle now, because since this is our angle 60 degree, this will now be the adjacent. This is the opposite, the one facing angle 60 degree, and this will be the hypotenuse. So moving forward now to get angle 60 degree, sine 60 degree, which is opposite over hypotenuse. So its root will be opposite is what? Root 3, and the hypotenuse is 2. For cos 60, opposite over hypotenuse, opposite now is 1, and the adjacent is 2. For tan 60, which is opposite over hypotenuse, opposite now is root 3, adjacent is 1. So 1 divided by root 3 will still give us root 3. Now we want to consider the third triangle, which is angle 45 degree. Considering angle 45 degree, the only triangle you are going to use that will have that is first a right angle triangle, and at the same time an isosceles triangle. Because since some of angle in triangle is 180 degree and one is 90, so the two will be sharing the other 90 equally. That's 45, 45. So there we have 1 and 1. So we have now the hypotenuse as the unknown side, x. So using our Pythagoras theorem, we also get that hypotenuse squared equals to opposite square plus adjacent square. So x squared plus 1 squared plus 1 squared. X squared now be 1 plus 1. X squared equals to 2. X now is root 2. X is root 2. So either way, when you consider 45, 1 will be the opposite, 1 will be the adjacent, and the hypotenuse that is now root 2 that I've just determined. So we want to use our trig ratio. Using our trig ratio for 45, sine is opposite over hypotenuse, that's 1 over root 2. Cosine is opposite over hypotenuse. Adjacent over hypotenuse, 1 over root 2. Tangent is opposite over adjacent, 1 over 1, which is 1. Then we want to also start in a tabular form. We want to talk about these other angles that can also be involved. We have 0 degree, 30 degree, 45 degree, 160 degree, and 90 degree. Now, for values of cosine, it starts from 0 and ends at 1. Tangent starts from 1 and ends at 0. That means sine increase, tangent, cosine decrease. Whereas tangent is cosine divided by cosine. And that's what we are going to do now. For sine 0, it is 0. Sine 30 we have determined that 1 over 2. Sine 45, 1 over root 2. Sine 60, root 3 over 2. Then sine 90 degree, 1. I said cosine starts from 1 and ends at 0. Cos 0 degree, 1. Cos 30 degree, root 2 over 3. Cos 45, 1 over root 2. Cos 60 degree, half. Then cos 90 degree is 0. Then I said tangent is cosine, sine divided by cosine. So 1 divided by 0, 0. Half divided by root 3 over 2, 1 over root 3. I've determined that. 1 over root 2 divided by 1 over root 2, 1. Root 3 over 2 divided by half, root 3. 1 divided by 0 is undefined. So that's the tabular form. This will help you to know this. So just master this: 0, half, 1 over root 2, root 3 over 2, and 1. So sine starts from 0 and ends at 1. Cosine starts from 1 and ends at 0. Tangent is sine divided by cosine. We want to use this in solving some questions. Calculate the length of marked x and y. All the dimensions are in centimeters. Give your answer in the short form. So we have a triangle that has angle 60 degree and x as its opposite, 4 as adjacent, and y as its hypotenuse. So to find x, tan 60 degree, which is opposite of adjacent, that's why you have x over 4. And using the short form, the short value for tan 60 is root 6. So 4 comes to multiply root 3. 4 comes to multiply root 3. So that's 4 times root 3. So s is 4 root 3 centimeter. To get y is cosine 60 equals to adjacent over hypotenuse. We go back to the triangle. Adjacent, this is known, over hypotenuse, cosine adjacent over hypotenuse. That's 4 over y. Then what's the short form of cos 60 degree, half? So when you cross multiply, that will give us 1 times y, then 4 times 2. So 4 times 2 is going to give us 8 centimeters. Another example, we have angle 45 given, then the opposite is x, adjacent is 3, hypotenuse is y. So we can see, find that using our trig ratio, tan, which is opposite to adjacent, that's x divided by 3. So what's the value for tan 45 degree? 1. So 1 times 3 will give us 1 times 3 give us 3. That's 3 centimeters. Then to get our y, which is cosine, if you go back to the triangle, can you see now? Adjacent and hypotenuse. So cosine, cos 45 degree is adjacent over hypotenuse, which is 3 over y. So what's the value of cos 45? 1 over root 2. So that by cross multiplication, 1 times y, 3 times root 2, 3 root 2 centimeters. Now I want to do another group. This is now called making two triangles to come together. Imagine two triangles together. For calculate the length of the length marked x and y. All dimensions are in centimeters. Give answers in short form. Now you have this, the first triangle, which is having 60 degree, and this is the 90 degrees. So that this is the hypotenuse. So here we're giving the opposite and adjacent. The second triangle now, this 90 degrees. So y is the hypotenuse. This is 45 degree, which is opposite. So let's solve the first triangle having 60 degree, x and 4. And that's what? Opposite and adjacent, tan. So tan 60 degree equals to opposite of adjacent, which is x over 4. What's value of tan 60? Short form, root 3, and that will give us x over 4. 4 will come to multiply to give us 4 root 3. And the other side of the triangle, let's check that, is the one having x, which I've just determined, and then 90 degree hypotenuse. So this angle 90 degrees, so this is the hypotenuse. So that's opposite and hypotenuse, and that will give us sine. Sine 45 degrees opposite of hypotenuse, so opposites, which is x and y. So we have a value for x, which is 4 over root 3. Then the value, the source value for sine 45 degrees is 1 over root 2. So when you cross multiply, that will be y equals to 4 root 3 times root 2, and that will give us y, 4y equals to what? 4 root 6 centimeters. Another example, having two triangles, so you have it as 30 degree and x, then 8 now stands as the adjacent, because this is 90 degree, 90 degree, so this is the hypotenuse. So then the second triangle having x, and then y is still the adjacent, and this one is opposite. So let's do that. So still tan 30 degrees is going to give us opposite over adjacent, so which is x over 8. So what is tan 30 degree? 1 over root 3. So 8 now will come to multiply 1, that's 8 for 3. You rationalize, which is multiplying with the both denominator and the denominator with the surd that is denominator. So that's 8 times 8 root 3 times root 3 over root 3 to give us x, and that will give us 8 root 3 over 3 centimeter is x. So we have also approved that sine, the other one is sine, which is opposite and hypotenuse. So we have a value for x, which is 8 over 8 root 3 divided by 8. So what's the value for sine? For 5 will be 1 over root 2, and that will give us 1 over root 2 equals to x, which is 8 root 3 over 3 and y. So when you cross multiply, y times 1, and this comes to multiply, will give us, this will multiply now 8 root 6 over 3 centimeters. So we have this as our class work. Calculate the length, mark x and y. Give answer in short form. The first triangle is having 30 degree, 7, well, that is the hypotenuse, facing angle 90, then the opposite. So you consider which of the three ratio you are going to use to copy that. The second one is angle 60 degree, you have 90, so this is the hypotenuse, x is the opposite, and this is the adjacent. The second one is 90, so this is the hypotenuse, y, and opposite is x. So you consider which of the three ratio you are using for that. So see you in the next class. I am Adeyemi Alao. Thank you. Subscribe to my YouTube channel.